All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen. I'm definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with me this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in this Forex market. So without further ado, as always, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. If you can hear me loud and clear, drop me a big number 1 in the chat so we can get this session started. All right, we are ready to go. I see the crew is here. All right, so hey, let's dive into the fundamentals and take a look at the Forex Factory from yesterday. I need to go back a little bit. Had a lot of data come out. We saw flash PMI come out in the Eurozone. We talked about that yesterday, showing some contraction in some areas. So really just mixed. We're getting a lot of mixed data that we're trading through. I know you guys see it technically on the charts. And then we've got in the United States, the flash PMI came through at 50, right at 50 pretty much for manufacturing, and flash services 50.9. So both of those numbers beat expectations. So the dollar and the U.S. economy, man, what can you say about it being resilient? I think just with a lot of the mixed data that I'm seeing, I'm leaning towards a lot of this is being driven by greed, because a lot of the economic indicators and things like that, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't know, a little bit on edge about some things when you look at reports and how far people are moving, into their credit cards and hitting those max levels and things like that. You just wonder when things are really going to slow down, but I don't know. We're living in some different times for sure. So we'll continue to watch the economic data. Thursday, we've got GDP numbers coming out for the United States, right? Major report that everybody's waiting on. So we'll see how that goes. But hey, positive news is positive news, right? For the US. Australia, right? Jeremy posted last night when this came out in the group. The CPI, right, came in and beat expectations. You had 1.2% Q over Q. Estimated was 1.1, 5.6 on the year over year. And then the trend mean CPI came in at 1.3. But I was reading some other articles that's, I guess the devil's in the details, a little mixed as well. But what this does is it shows that, hey, you've got, central bank meetings in November. It kind of increases the possibility of the Reserve Bank of Australia putting in another rate hike. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on that. And today, right, we've got some other important data. So we show some contraction out of the Eurozone with the numbers from yesterday with the PMI numbers, but then we come in and we look at the largest player in the Eurozone, which is Germany, and we can see that the business climate creeped up, right? 85.9 was the forecast, is at 86.9. It made front page news on Trading Economics. German business mood improves, right? So data's a back and forth, right? Because we see here in the Eurozone, the lending growth missed expectations, and then we had the PMI data coming out yesterday, right? So we'll just continue to trade what we see. You can see here European shares trade in the red on earnings and the ECB. So I had to go back and read and find out what Lagarde was saying from the ECB. But yeah, a lot of mixed data as we look to close out October and move into November. Is it me, or is this a pretty fast month? Was it quick for anybody? I don't know. It seemed like
It
the end of the month. It is. Yeah, it's I'm like, man, this month has just flown by, and we're heading into November, into the holiday seasons here with Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas, right? That normal cycle, but it is here quick, fast, in a hurry. And it has been a year of so many lessons and a lot of good progress for a lot of our members. So we're definitely proud of that. Any questions on the fundamentals? And again, here we've got tomorrow, we've got ECB, we've got a monetary policy decision forecasted to hold. The statement, that's always what's important, is that forward guidance. And then we got GDP numbers coming out of the US, and then we've got the ECB press conference. So it has been a very busy week, but the data has, in my opinion, has been very mixed, very mixed. You're seeing it, yes, very fast. Yeah, it has moved. I have to go, we'll watch the recording. Okay, all right, I'll see you. Have a good day. Have a good day. All right, so that's where we are on the fundamentals. We'll come over and we'll take a look at the DXY, and we can see it based on that data yesterday. We've got a bit of a pop right back above that level. So we are ranging a bit on this dollar. You know, sometimes some pairs, it can make it a little bit difficult to trade, more than others, I would say, but some of it, you know, is giving us clean moves. So that's the DXY, right? We're bouncing around. We've moved back bullish again on the US dollar, just ahead of the GDP data for tomorrow. So I'm wondering if things will start to slow down a bit as we move throughout the day, just ahead of that report, as it often does at times. So if we take a look at the daily, we can see that we're just bouncing around pretty much. But for right now, that bounces to the upside. Okay, so we'll see if eventually we break out and get a continuation. Kind of hard to tell right now. We'll see if the report and the data tomorrow can serve as a catalyst. Strong reaction for 105. See, I know, I know, Reese, that level is holding, right? You called that level out a long time ago as a key level, and it is hovering around that level. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's like I said, especially on that data tomorrow, that'll tell us a lot. So yeah, any questions on the DXY? It's been a fun ride this year. Always learning, always a student. All right, no questions. Don't see anything. Okay. All right, so let's move into, so we'll start out and we'll look at this pound dollar move that we've been trading to the downside, because it's moving pretty good. We can see that from the weekly, right? We're holding below that 123 level, and we're grinding to the downside, even though this here is a support level. Yep, that we need to add in from the weekly chart. Don't want to miss that. So we can put that in now. But right now, we are moving bearish, right? So just a clean price action. This is a swing low, right? And we know how to identify those swing lows. 2 candles to the left, 2 candles to the right that are higher than our center candle low, right? So that's where we are. So that qualifies. So we move that level down, and we'll come to the 4, where this is the main move, right, that we've been following, right? So we got it to break that trend line a long time ago, and then we were ranging. We pushed up a bit, but all in all, we're still on that ABCD trajectory, right? We're looking for that ABCD move. Okay. Came in just shy. Okay, we ran into resistance just shy of 786. So right now that projection is still a 1.618 D extension as we stand today. And then here is that 1 hour move, okay, that we've been tracking, and that is moving pretty good. Where some of our positions are bouncing around, a couple of them, that Euro USD, I had adjusted my stop. I got stop profited on my Euro USD. So that one's still bouncing around, which kind of makes sense. The Euro's been back and forth. The dollar's been back and forth. The DXY, as a result, is back and forth, right? So that one got me. And then there was another one this morning too. I had adjusted my stop on, and it was it the let me see. The Euro NZD pushed up. So, and I had adjusted my stop loss there, and then it's got a nice decent pullback on it and it stopped me out. So I have to look to see if there's an opportunity to re-enter that one. But we'll take a look at it. But as far as this pound dollar goes, that has been a pretty good move to the downside. So hopefully you're still in it, done that. Yeah, I was thinking about you this morning when I opened my charts to take a look at this pair, because I remember you bringing it up yesterday, making sure that we checked in on it. But that's been a good move. One thing that I have been doing is I have been because of the volatility and a lot of the mixed data, when I get up good, I have been doing a better job with my management, making sure that I'm bringing that stop down manually. I don't have a trailing stop, but just making sure that I check in on the charts and move that stop down manually in the profit. So if we do get some crazy data, I'm also aware that, we do have not one, but two wars going on now. So you never know what can happen with the back and forth. So I've been a little bit quicker to adjust my stops in the profit, and then if I get stopped out on a major move, hey, I'm in profit, maybe I can look for an opportunity. So that's how I've adjusted my trade management a bit. So you say, yeah, you took some money off the table. Yeah, that's definitely what you want to do. We've got a 4-hour level that we're coming into where we got a bounce last time. We know that the dollar is back and forth. The pound is kind of, everything's a little bit all over the place right now. I'm not going to say just some pairs, but a lot of them are. So, just trade with caution if you're good on a trade. Like you said, maybe take some money off the table. Of course, if you're in there, just one micro, you can't cut that in half. So just adjust your stop, and lock in some profit. Like for me, a stop above this high, or if I drop down to the lower time frame and find something a little tighter, would be good. So that's that on the pound dollar. Any questions? That's been a good move for us. Let's check in on this Euro JPY on this 4-hour. Look at some of these euros real quick. Because it's giving us a good move, these yen crosses. So here's this 4-hour swing here off this 80-20 zone. See how it pushed up right above that level at 159.79, and we're getting that move down. So we've got again, if you're in this Euro JPY on the swing to the downside, if you were able to catch that, I know we were talking about it yesterday on the potential pullback, but we really didn't get much. But if you're down, if you are shorting this now, think about it. If you caught it from the highs, think about adjusting that stop, bringing it down above this level here and taking a ride, right? However you want to manage it, but just an idea, since we broke it below this 158.59 level and we've got a good move bearish here. Okay, so just start to lock some things in. Here you got a bit of a head and shoulders there across that level, but here we are on this one. You see how we're just moving down. That came right off the B boundary pretty much, that 159.79 level. So you can see it's still about major levels. That's a weekly level, and we're just using these fib zones for additional confirmation. Okay, so here's what we were talking about on the 15 yesterday. We didn't get that pullback. It just accelerated, and we hit that D extension. So we should, because that D extension was hit, that's a low. This should be here now. Okay, like that. Here's where our D extension. This is the price action that broke that 1.618, and now we have a swing low. Right? So we should be looking like that on that 15-minute fib. It hasn't popped in yet, but we didn't get the pullback that we wanted yesterday. For those of us who might have missed that initial move off the 4, we were looking for a potential pullback. We got it just back to a 382, but we didn't get it high in the zone to retest the backside of that trend line. So so there we are, Euro NZD. That's another 80-20 move playing out off the 4. Okay, and see if we can get that continued bearish price action. Any questions on the euro JPY? I'm sorry. Hey, so that's out of that zone. If you played the level, right, yeah, that's 100 pips. It has some drawdown there, about 21, 22 pips. If you took it and wrote it off the highs, right, which some of us do, you know, increased it a little bit, but that's been a good mover to the downside. Let's take a look at this Euro NZD. And you can see here where we'll look at it at this the weekly. You can see how it's been bullish, and we're playing a correction, okay, on the lower time frames. So you can see here where it held at this 182. So look at that push down and then that check back, and we got that bearish engulfing candle right off of that daily level at 182.53. Okay, so now, of course, oftentimes when you have a strong bearish candle like that or a strong bullish candle, the market's going to test it, right? The market's going to test it, right? We like to say it likes to test at least 50% of the candle, and you can see how it's pushing up. Okay, we want to know, right, if that sell side is real. So price is pushing up there, and you can see here, we'll just go to the one where we've got the setup, because we know right now, right, this is the move. So this is where I took the hit, because I moved it down. Look how close we were getting to the TP, right? Hindsight, right? You say, man, I should have took profit, but what I had did was just adjusted my stop a bit. But now we're pulling back, right? We're getting a decent pullback there, but our stochastic is way overbought, so we may get that continuation to move back to that target, right, to that 382 target. So decent move. I was able to collect, but I did get stopped out on that one because I moved that stop down. Anybody still holding this Euro NZD? It's given a nice correction. Definitely would still like to see that move down to that TP1 level for that 229 target. No, nobody in it on the Euro NZD. Okay, stopped out. Yeah. No. So we got a pullback going on. We've got some right. So we had drawn up when we were looking at this setup off the break, where we had marked these 1 hour support levels, and you can see now how it broke the level, and now we're trying to see if it's going to pull back. Is it going to pull back and hold at this 181.90 level? So it worked out good for us yesterday on the news. With the contraction that it showed out of the Eurozone with the PMI data, but now, right, we got some positive sentiment out of Germany, and then some ECB news that I still have to get caught up on some things that were said. So we're getting this push up. So we'll see if it holds in our zone, and then it wants to continue down to that TP1, but I'm no longer in that. So that's the Euro NZD. Take a look at this Euro dollar, which Yasina, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. And can you explain to me, when you say you got stopped out, what does that mean?
Oh, so okay, great question. So what happens is so this trade is a pretty big move, right?
Yeah.
That we're looking at over 200 pips. So you can see where the original stop was, and then so as it moved in a profit, I manually moved my stop down.
Right.
Okay. So I moved it down. You know, like I said, hindsight, you would wish, like, man, I wish I had moved it down a little bit tighter. You know, like maybe as I was moving quickly, just taking a look at my charts, like, here was this bearish candle. See that strong bearish candle?
Yeah.
Here that moved down. The better place for me would have been, you know, above that high, and then I would just now be getting stopped out of that trade.
Yeah.
But I think I had it. I can't remember where it is. I have to look in my phone, but I'm out of it. you know, it took me out. So yeah, that's that. So that's what we mean. So that way, this is locked in. So all of this profit here,
Yeah.
is profit. So
Mhm.
when it moved and took me out, yes, I didn't get the entire move, right? But I didn't give back all my money either.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because you could here's the original stop here,
Uh-huh.
right? Here's the original stop here. So I would still be sitting. Now I can go in right now and say, this is pulled back a bit much. It took out this high, right?
Mhm.
And you can say, you know what, I'm just going to close the trade.
Mhm.
You know, I'm just going to close the trade. If you see this happening and you're uncomfortable with it, right? Or you hold,
Yeah.
but you know, just because of some of the volatility lately, a lot of the mixed data fundamentally, like I've started to move this down a little faster, right?
Okay.
You know, so if you're getting 60, 70 pips, 100 pips, you know, in profit, like Danette said, you could take some money off the table. And what she means by that, say you're in the trade at say 40 cents a pip, you know, 4 micros. What she's saying is, hey, if I'm up, you know, 100 pips or so, or whatever her trade plan says, she's saying, you know what, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna close half that trade.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm gonna close out and then I'm gonna adjust my stop,
Mhm.
you know, in profit on the remaining 20 cents.
Mhm.
And if that 20 cents rise to target, good. If it reverses and takes me out, then it takes me out, but I've made some profit.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, you know, so just locking in and securing it, you know, instead of leaving that stop way up here.
Mm.
You know, it's because the market's been so crazy with the volatility, like it can reverse because we know we've seen price, right? Look how it came back down to this 236 level. We know it has the potential to take the ride from there,
Mhm.
you know, depending on, you know, how big the market is. So sometimes it's just best to say, you know, I'm gonna take it, you know, I'm gonna move it down. And if it takes me out, like for example, like I was saying here, strong bearish candle, I'll move it above this high. And if it finishes and completes the target, good. If not, then it takes me out like it did here.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, but I've been able to, you know, so off this level, like for example, stop here, you know, that's 84 pips. You know, that's 84 pips that you gain. That's still a good day in the
Yeah.
market, good week in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
market, you know. Because we have to, you know, always remember that these are trade ideas,
Mm.
right? It's an idea of where I want price to go, but I ultimately, like for example here, don't control this market. Now this could just very well be pulling back to crown, right? So this could just be a crown because we took out the low. See how we took that low out
Mhm.
there? So not a head and shoulders where we got that equal neckline, but a crown, and we may just be pulling back.
So to
You know,
prevent yourself from getting stopped out, if it's possible, you would just have to make sure that you move your stop loss, follow it. So you move your stop loss just to sort of prevent that from happening, or no?
correct. You mean on this move here?
Well, in general, if because we don't know if we're going to get stopped out, so is preventing that from happening? How would you manage it? The trade
Preventing
you from getting
what?
stopped out. Do you just manage your trade and follow it through, or
That comes down because there's a lot of times where I will just leave it, you know,
yeah,
here because here's the bottom line, right? We already know that if I lose that, I'm out of 1%, right?
yeah,
For example. So, you know, it's totally up to you as a trader, you know, to get out. My shift has come because the market's been bouncing all over the place, right? The dollar's been ranging all over the place. It's the reserve currency. So just me, it's just my thing to, like, right now during this time is just to move that down, right?
yeah.
But you could stay in this trade and let it ride and say, no, my discipline is to this 382.
Keep it, yeah.
You know, my discipline is to this 382, and I'm just going to ride it out. You know, there's no exact rhyme or reason.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, with the market. I understand what you're you know, what you're getting at and how you're looking at it. But this is just what we play. So if you're saying I guess I would say there's a positive and a negative to everything.
Yeah.
The negative about swing trading, major moves, is that there are some trades that if you're holding that discipline, where it will U-turn from here and take a stop out. And as a swing trader, those are just some of the things that we deal with. You know, I don't, you know, there's no exact way of knowing when you have certain trades that you've put in where it's going to do that. You know, so it's just part of the game. There's going to be some trades where it's like, man, this trade moved down over 100 pips, 200 pips, and then I come back to my computer and it stopped me out, and it's just like, you know, it's just par for the course, I think.
Yeah.
You know, with trading, because there's times where, you know, I just happen to be, you know, in a time where I can actively look at my charts, but there's been several times throughout the years where I come back to my chart for a trade like this, and it's like, what in the world? Like, I was up, you know, 100 some pips on this trade, and then I got stopped out, and now this trade has just, you know, gone to the moon. And it's like, hey, the market got super, you know, super bid, buyers came in, and this was the level. So it didn't make it back to my 382 level. It just didn't. And that's just, it is what it is. You know. So that's the best, you know, I can answer that question for you. Yeah, you're welcome. But, you know, what you try to do is keep a positive risk to reward ratio, right? I don't like being in 1-to-1s, because I know as long as I'm in at least a 1.5, 2-to-1 over time, technically I can make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I'm making $1.50 for every dollar I lose, I can make money in this market. So these are huge moves. So, you know, if we look at this setup, you know, this is like it's almost a 3.5-to-1. You get what I'm saying? So I can't be mad at this getting stopped out, right? Because it still was a positive trade for me. What we want to watch out for is taking money too fast to where we're in a 1-to-1 situation, because over time, you have to, if you're 1-to-1, then I know, right? I automatically have to win over 50% of my trades to make money. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of look at it the way, because I put my trades on and I just leave it and I follow them. So when you mention, I do follow them, and then I kind of, when I feel that I need to take it off the table, I'm in a position, that's basically how I do it. And I know you mentioned about being stopped out a few times, so that could happen at any time while you're in a trade, couldn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, and hence, you know, why that's how I usually do it. Just follow and see how it's going, and when I need to pull back, I'll pull back up and come out of the trade. And that's one of the things that I wanted to know. Is there a way that you could prevent from getting stopped out? But there isn't, because as long as you're, I guess, following your trade through, and then you decide on when you want to take some off the table or leave it. Because I tend to sit on my hands a lot and leave my trade, because I haven't got time to sit in front of the computer. So that's how I normally play it. So I was just curious to know, because I've meant, you know, being stopped out happens, and I was just wondering, is there, apart from what we're doing, is there any way that you can prevent yourself from getting stopped out? And I suppose there isn't.
No, there isn't. That's the amazing thing about this market. You know, I just say, whenever I'm looking to take money off the table and adjusting a stop, it's like, am I putting myself to where I'm over a 1-to-1?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where if this gets stopped out, does it still put me in a positive risk to reward ratio? You know what I mean? Even if it's like a 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, like, you know what I mean? Like, I try to say, okay, if I adjust my stop here, is it going to, technically, am I in a positive risk to reward ratio? Because that's what's going to matter over time. You know, that's what's going to matter over time, because, you know, you do get stopped out. You do come on. We've seen, you know, 80-20 plays that they shoot right through that 80-20 zone and just go to the extension. You know, that's just it is what it is. But I know if I can have that happen to me, you know, 3, 4, 5 times in a row, 6 times in a row. But if over time I'm keeping a positive risk to reward ratio, then I should still be able to make money.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I never get down when, you know, you run through a series of trades and they all hit their stop. You know, like, man, that's like 4 trades in a row that hit stops. I'm not worrying about it, because I know that as long as I keep a positive risk to reward ratio, I have an opportunity to make money in the market. Yeah. So that's the key. So yeah, I wish, trust me, I'm like you, always thinking of, like, how do I avoid this? Like, I used to be like, well, what if I just put my stop way up here?
Yeah.
Trade small, and eventually it's gonna come down. You know, try to I know a trader that I follow, Mark Minervini, and he's written several books, but he's won the World Cup of Trading, and he is just big on that. You have to have, in order to make money in this market, you have to have asymmetrical returns, meaning that you've got to have a decent risk to reward. You know, he'll run very, very, very tight, a lot tighter than what I run them, but very, very, very tight stops. And he's not worrying about strike rate or win percentage. You know, he's keeping it, for example, he's keeping it, you know, to stop it right above that high tight. You know, so like in this example, you know, his stop would be a whole lot tighter. His stop would be above that high, right? Like how we tell you guys, hey, it's well within your power to trade and keep that stop loss tight. Yeah. So for example, here we've got price that held at that 180-253 level, and then look at that nice bearish candlestick that broke the trend line. Well, then put that stop right above that high. And if it swings and it takes you out, who cares? I can have a 35-40% strike rate, and all of my losses are going to be accounted for, because when the big move happens, it's going to wipe out all those losses and put me in profit. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. So this is why we give people, you know, multiple options in regards to entry, because like you said, I'm like you, you know, I wish I could be in front of my computer. Definitely need to get back to really set my alerts, like for example, on this trend line break, because then I could keep it tight. You know, the reason why I keep it wide is because oftentimes I'm not around my computer. You see, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I have to leave it wide and trade smaller, because I'm busy, you know. But for example, with my lifestyle, we're in the fall season. I've got two daughters that are cheerleaders, 2 different teams. I got a son playing football. But guess what? All that comes to an end. So in the off season, I may have the opportunity to take more of these 80-20 setups to where I'm using a tighter stop, because think about it. We divide our risk by our stop loss, right? We divide our risk by our stop loss. So if I tighten that down, my risk is still 1%, but my lot size, instead of it being 30-40 cent, I might be able to trade it at 80 cent, one mini lot, for example, and take that trade. And that's all relative to the size of your account. You know, but if I get stopped out, it's the same 1% loss, but I'm able to trade at a higher lot size because my stop is so much tighter, right? So for example, this move here, you're looking at, if I shorted off that candle, you know, a little bit tighter, 54 pips, you know, but that's 143 pips on that move. Or you can drop down to a 15-minute, a 30-minute like Reese does, and you could play it there, right? You would have gotten a tighter entry off of a lower time frame, but you have to have time to do that.
Yeah.
So great question. Great. You're welcome. Great topic. Stop loss management is always a lot of videos and a lot of opinions out there, in the universe on that. So that's like the greatest mystery of them all. So it really is. It really is. So for example, let's take a look at this this Euro USD setup. And like look how this is just bounced around all over the place. So if you're if you're trying to trade, a tighter stop loss on that, it could be hectic, right? That could be hectic because you're not giving a lot of room to breathe, but you could, run a trend line through. Again, you can always run these on a lower time frame. For example, a trade like this, that's getting whipsawed all over the charts. Maybe you play the break here. Maybe you get some tighter on the lower time frame. Like maybe on a lower time frame, you're able to run in a trend line here off this level, and maybe you get in here. So this is on a 4. So if we see if I can find this area on the lower chart. Take it down to like a 15. Let's do this here. Uh-oh. Hold on, everybody, let me reset. So if I roll this back on the 15 and find my zone, right, maybe you were able to get, some sort of entry here. Right, off the break here. Right. Look how that moves sideways. It's tough, so if you played it off this break here, then you put your stop below that low, you've got a super tight stop on that here, right? The low prior to the trend line break. Now that consolidated, right? But it didn't take you out, and then it's been moving, then it moved up. So you can make plays like that. But again, you have to have your alert set. You have to be, take this off now. You have to be, around your computer. But that right there, because your spread is always low on your Euro USD, so you wouldn't have got stopped out there. But that's been running ever since. So that's an example, super tight stop loss on these setups. And yes, your strike rate is going to be lower. But my strike rate is lower, but look at my risk to reward on my setups, that I'm doing. So this is how you see people in the market making money with a strike rate that's extremely low, below 50%. This is how they do it. Right? They're using those super tight entries. So that's just one example of how you could take advantage of these moves on the lower time frame. So now my stop is not 115 pips, right? It's a whole lot tighter than that. And that trade would work out. As a matter of fact, you would still be in profit off that move. All right. Any questions on that? right? So that's how you get those crazy risk to rewards. But just know, and we always talk about that, right? It all looks good until you get hit with it, right? Until you get hit with that 6, 7, 8 losses in a row from using that tight stop loss, because we've seen this a lot of times, right? Where it just gets whips all around and then eventually it goes, or it just moves down and takes out the stop. But you have to be comfortable, you know, and you have to be psychologically strong enough to say, hey, I know I may lose 6 or 7 trades in a row, right? But my risk management is good. So if I'm risking 1%, okay, I know I'm down 6%. You have to be able to see that red in your account and be okay with that. And if you are, there's a lot of money to be made, right? Off of trading those reversals like that. All right. So that's that on the Euro USD. All right. That's always a good topic of discussion. It is, I have a couple other pairs that I want to take a look at, but I'm gonna let you guys, if there's anything that you have that's pressing in regards to a setup that you want to take a look at, go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll make sure I take a look at it for you. No setups. Oil and gold, you don't have none. Yeah, I know you're sitting in trades riding them, Joy. No setups. Okay. So let's take a look at oil. We'll take a look at gold, and then we'll go through a few more that I have. NZD, JPY. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at oil. So you can see we're down on the week. All right, we're down on the week. This has kind of been ranging. Okay, you got a nice evening star setting up there. So we'll see how this week finishes out. Here we are at this level. So we're kind of we're retesting these lows here. All right, that's stochastic. We got a 382 pullback, and then it took off. This here is a strictly a smart trader print, right? Don't know what happened there, but you don't see that on any other charts, right? At least from the charts that I've looked at, other charts on TradingView and MT4 and stuff like that. But right here, we're testing the support. So it seems to be respecting this level. Look at your morning star that you got, candlestick formation that you got here off of this 83.52 level, right? Decision, indecision, decision. And now it's come right back to test that level. So I wonder if we're gonna stay a little range bound. Here we are here. So we're still, right, because oil had been bullish, then we got a decent correction. So we're still just ranging within this AB boundary. Right? We may hold 4 hours stochastic is in the buy zone. We've been filled this gap. If we come down to the 1, it's my last markup that we had here, right? So we know that we had the 80-20, right? That was a monster. And I haven't done anything since on oil. So, but if we clear this out now, because that took out TP3 actually on that last oil play, you can see how we're just bouncing around. So what I'm going to say is this is, right. This is a key level. So if we zoom out, is hey, do we hold? Right? Because it's been testing that level. So we have been moving up in a positive direction. And now it's just giving us the bounce back and forth. So kind of neutral right now at this level. Right? See what happens when we see what happens there. I mean, if we break below 82, 62, right, we may be headed for lower prices. We got some levels coming in here, 1 hour levels. Haven't marked them up yet, but right now you can see here that bulls and bears are just fighting. Right, we're accumulating here. Look at that. So that's kind of a wait and see. You know, looking at just horizontal support and resistance levels, and seeing which way it wants to break out. I need to remark these levels up. But you can see, I mean, this has made lower lows and lower highs to the point now where we've got a pause going on. All right. So I'll remark these levels up on oil to make sure that these levels are clean. And then I'll probably just look right now to play breakouts, to play breakouts on that. 50 crossed up to 200 on the 4 hour. 13. We're talking about oil, Joy?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're playing that you're moving averages 5,200 simple. Let's take a look at it. Okay. All right, yeah. So let's see what happens. It's running right through price now. It's running through price, which is, hey, that's a bit sideways. It's ranging, right? So let's see what happens. I mean, we're back in the buy zone on the 4. But we're kind of just flat. So we need a catalyst, right? Let's check the fundamental data on oil. Let's check some articles. Everybody see what's going on with supply. I know we've got the latest move down was due to demand concerns, So let's continue to watch that.
Discussions between Saudi Arabia, isn't it? And America have got oil.
Say that one more time.
I understand there's discussions between Saudi Arabia and the USA about oil because of the reason.
Oh, okay.
This
So
is pages I heard from my broker. So
okay. Oh yeah. So I'll read up on that. And if you have some, share it in the Discord for us.
I will.
Yeah, because I need to get caught up on that.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it. So let's see how that plays out. Moving sideways right now. So we'll see. All right. Let's take a look at crude. I mean, oil, but gold. Kind of just hovering, right? So look at that 80-20. That was almost like the Euro NZD setup that we looked at. Well, we reversed out right before that 382. That's a bummer. That's a bummer there. And we're just moving sideways. So I'm thinking, look at that. Hopefully some of you played that 80-20. You were able to you moved your stop down on that.
No, I ain't moved to stop. And I'm still
oh my goodness.
Benny, me and this broker is gonna we in beefs. It's the spreads and the I can't figure out what else. It was by 2 pips. And I was like, why you just didn't hit TP? And I'm not gonna bet against the US. And I'm like, well, I'm right at the border, so I'm only $1.62 down draw. It's gonna go back down. I don't know, but I wanted to selfishly.
Worst. That's the word. So are you still setting your TPs just before the target?
This one I could have sworn I did it. Yeah, probably about right up underneath that wick right there. That last bullish on the Fed. You see where it tried to form a twin toe?
Mm-hmm.
I put it just at that wick right there.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it was just about 2 pips that it didn't hit TP, and foolishly I'm still sitting in it, but I still got high hopes.
Hey, just be aware because we've got we've got GDP data coming out tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
This right here is a beautiful, like, right, how we always say, like, candlesticks are the sign language of the Forex market, right? So it'll tell you that's a beautiful evening star right there. Right, that was moving down. Decision to the downside, and I just moved. Right, but yeah, well, hopefully we get something favorable and push it back down in your direction, Joy. But man, that's on 2 pairs now that happened.
Knowing gold,
Yeah.
you're gonna go right back up to that level and then drop.
I know. He said it, reset it, follow structure. Yeah.
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 It is because them bell traders gonna push it up. Them bell traders always play bull, and they gonna push it right on up.
Yeah. Yeah. It came. It came down pretty decent. Right, there was a level where it reacted, sitting right there. So it got close, but it's all good. It's all good. You can't. It's a guy told me once, like, man, don't try to perfect an imperfect market. The market can stay irrational a whole lot longer than you can stay rational. So don't get emotional about it. Just keep catching pips, playing your percentages, and making sure you stay in a positive risk to reward and that you're not over leveraged. So you can't control it all.
What do your 4 look like with the cloud on it?
4 hour.
Yeah, because it was basically the same move on the 1 and the 4 hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's that. My 4 moving long right here is a different fib scenario. But with the cloud, it's still bullish. Still moving bullish about that cloud. Just didn't get a crazy deep correction. That's all. I'm interested to see this GDP data tomorrow, though. Interested to see that. So still moving bullish. So let's so we got oil, gold, NZD, JPY. Let's take a look at that. What do we have here? So overall, right, we've been bullish against the yen, but this morning, though, we are getting these yen crosses, right? Are declining this morning across the board. We're getting some moves to the downside. This has been still overall bullish within this fib sequence, but we're moving down this morning. You see that across the board with these yens. Right, you're getting some downward pressure, So we see it tested last time, right, across this level. So this 87.04 is going to be a key level. If we break below that level, we're probably going to see further declines on this move. This has been all over the place, right? This has been all over the place. So if we're just looking at horizontal support and resistance, we need to see if it's going to hold. Right, because it's moving bearish. We come over to the 1 for this. That came down and came through, right? 80-20 area type of setup a long time ago. So let me take this off. See it, right? We can scan it, but me, right, I'll put the scan on and then I'll pull it back off. And so it's moving down. It's just playing it off this recent leg, right? So if we run it here, does that make sense? Right? We're ranging, we're all over the place, right? So what's the most recent impulse leg to the downside? So now it's just a question, right? We've gotten this pullback. It's just choppy. So fib or no fib, it still puts us in the same scenario, right? 8704 support. Do we hold or do we break it? So even if I take this off, this is the level in the zone that I'm looking at. If we break below it, we're going to continue bearish. So that's what I will be waiting on to see what happens at this level. If we can get back to retest that 8704, I wouldn't be looking to do anything with it until, you know, I monitored this retest here, because it's been known to hold. So we'll see. Beneath, any other questions on that NZD-JPY? Nope. All right. It's been a while. All a crazy scenario. We'll take a look at the pound Aussie. Yep, US 30. We'll take a look. Pound Aussie. See what's going on. So this is our daily. Okay. Got a rejection. That's a pretty strong rejection there. Off that level, but that's a strong bear. So we kind of switched in between on this one. So let me zoom out on this, because this is what I had as my setup, because we got that push off that 61.8, and you see we got caught in a range. So here's the deal. The question becomes, right? We got a 4-hour stochastic that's bullish. That data come out of Australia, but I think year over year, I have to go in more detail, because I read articles. I know that CPI data came in above forecast, but I think overall, one of the key metrics in that report is actually the lowest it's been in a long time. So I'll go back and take a look at it, everybody, on that Aussie. And we'll see. So I'm wondering, Reese, what do you think? Do you think this is a slight pullback and a continuation down, or this is going to continue to ride and take this this bearish move back? It looks a little bit range bound to me, right? In regards to coming back to retest that 192.24 maybe level. Definitely not a smooth move. Because look at this reaction. So I don't know. Be honest and tell you, I don't know. Maybe a pullback to that level and then a continuation down. You playing it bearish? Yeah. I can see that. I'm in between on that one right now. So there we go. Off this leg should be interesting. I don't know. I'm out on it. So it's looking off that last move that it wants to pull back and then potentially get back bearish, but I don't know. That's a hard one to call, right? That was our swing from the past, right? That's why we had these trend lines drawn. You had a 61.8 on the 4-hour, and then you had an 80.20 that played out. That was from a while ago. But ever since then, I haven't done anything with it. So I'm kind of just looking at, this level here. If I take these back off. Do we work back up, to the top of that range, testing that trend line? So I guess we'll see when we get there. I'm not looking at buying that or anything. I'm not doing anything with it right now. So that's all I got on that pound. I guess as a day trade, since we are getting bullish momentum, maybe on your lower time frame, your 5-minute, can you get a pullback and a continuation? If you wanted to, if you were day trading and trying to map that out to try to play that move back to the top, or like you said, hold for that high price and maybe look to get short at structure. Maybe you get caught up in this zone in this area here. that's been a pretty awesome impulse move. But like, look how obviously that's a very good level that got bid, because look at that candlestick, almost 100 pips, and it took it right back. So that's a pretty volatile move right now. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. Let's take a look at I'm playing a bearish running the fifth from the top, got deep retracing on the 15. I want to see that. I see. All right. That's that. Wait for that trend line. Reese, I am going to drop Reese some sevens in that chat for that potential setup. I like it. I seen that crazy mess on the higher time frames and I clicked right past it. Like, I'll wait, but I like that. Thank you very much, sir. And then we'll take a look at this. What we want to see here at the best 30. That's what I'm looking like for the daily, right? It's kind of just holding. This is going to come down to, let me pull these out. So tomorrow too, we may see a reaction, right, on this US 30. That's right around that daily support there. Double bottom potential, all right? Potential double bottom there. Look at that. All right, we got we've got that W type formation. All right, so let's see what happens there from the daily, and then from the 4. Got some misalignment on the stochastic. All right, it says 80-20 from a while ago. So just holding. Let's see what happens tomorrow. On that. See how the market reacts.
Yeah, I'm looking at a on the 4 hour, when you do the flip to the downside, it's like at a 80-20 there, but pushing up to that 382.
You said on the 4?
Yeah. It had a 80-20 and it pushed up into that, pushing up into the
Yeah. I see it.
30-minute, it's at a 786 pullback. So I don't know. I guess I'll wait until it gets to the 382 on that 4 hour down fib to continue the downside.
Yeah, and then see what happens. See how the market reacts to the data tomorrow. I see. So let's see what happens on that, right? It's kind of choppy in that zone. Let's see what happens on that US 30. All right, that's it, everybody. Great session, right? Lots of good back and forth, lots of great questions. We all continue to learn and evolve as traders, right? That makes me super, super proud. So appreciate you all guys for continuing to show up for yourself, keeping your head in the game. And hey, look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, Benny.
Thanks.
You're
Always
welcome.